So I've had my UGREEN NAS for a month. It's not actually here, it's somewhere else in the house at the moment, but my computer is accessing it remotely. So this is an M1 MacBook, but it works on anything with a web browser really. And there's a virtual machines app on there, which first of all, when I looked at it, I couldn't quite work out how to do it because it says import a virtual machine, and then it was asking for an OVA file. And I read a few things and it didn't look as straightforward. Actually, it turns out you can just download an ordinary ISO, whether that's Linux or Windows, and just install it as a virtual machine within the software. And it's very simple. I'll go through the steps on it. So I've currently got Raspberry Pi OS in here, which is already running, and it's in another tab. So you can see it here. And if I wanted to access it, so you can see I can click on any of these. So say for instance P sensor, which would show me my temperatures, but because it's a virtual machine, it's not showing me that. And things like file management, all of that is there. And I can use the web browser just like an ordinary web browser. So if I wanted to look at athletics on the BBC site, you can see it works. And if I do, say for instance, hot UK deals, I get a full desktop environment and it's very, very usable. It's got a bit of lag to it because it's a remote desktop, but I can access this from anywhere I like. I've also got KDE Neon on here. But for a remote desktop, you're probably better off with a lighter operating system. So if I was to shut this down, and shut down, because you can only run one operating system at a time. Well, only the way I've done it, with configuring it with 4 gig of RAM. So let's close that one. So this is the virtual machines one. You can see both say start now. If I now want KDE Neon, just tap on that and then tap on it again to connect, and you'll see it loading up in its normal way. And we have KDE Neon running on here now. So yeah, just as you'd expect really. Also, if you start typing, so say I start typing files, it comes up and I can launch the file manager. And well, I haven't really got anything on this because it's all newly installed, but I can still access, in this case, Firefox as the web browser and go through all of that. So let's close that down. And I definitely found with this, it does have some graphical glitches every now and then, although since I changed it to X11 as a desktop environment, it seems to be better for KDE Neon, but Raspberry Pi OS seems to be much more solid on this virtual machine. Right, so let's shut this down and show you exactly how to install it, because it is, well, more simple than I thought. So the way I did it was to download an ISO, but on the NAS drive. So let's close this one. And let's get rid of all these tabs for now. So the only tab I've got up is my UGREEN NAS, and this is just how you remote access your UGREEN NAS. So if I open another tab, so this would actually be Mac OS now, and I do a search for a Linux distribution. So let's see what's popular at the moment. Let's go with Distro Watch. Okay, so a lot of people like Linux Mint. I also quite like MX Linux, but let's go with Linux Mint. And let's find their download page. Yeah, so we've got download here. We'll go with this one, the Mate edition. So if I copy that, and then I go back to the UGREEN NAS software and go to downloads, and create, and from a download link, and paste that in. So that will now, hopefully, start to download that file. It's a bit different on some Linux distributions, it doesn't take you to the actual page, and I think this might be the same. Yeah, that didn't do it, did it? Right, so let's go back to the browser and see what happened when you clicked on download. Okay, we needed to find a different download file. Doesn't really matter what I pick here, I just want a link. Okay, so that would be the link. So let's copy that and create from downloaded link and paste that in, and hopefully this time it will start to download, because this UGREEN NAS has got 8 gig of RAM and an Intel N100 processor, so quite a decent processor really. So you can see that's downloading at the moment. I probably should go in the other room where it's faster internet. But if we look at downloaded, you can see that I've done the same with Raspberry Pi OS and I've done the same with KDE Neon. Let's just delete that because that wasn't right. And we'll come back when that's all done. Okay, so that's just finished. You can see it says download completed. So what we do now is I can close that, go to virtual machine, so new VM and create manually. And then I'm going to select my ISO image. You can see I need to upload it to here. So add image from my NAS, because I've just downloaded it on there. Mine's in my shared downloads folder, that's where it puts it. And you can see Linux Mint is there. So we hit confirm and pop a name in. So I'll just call it Mint and confirm, and it's importing now. So we can close that and select the Mint ISO and next. Click here in volume 1 and next. System type, so you can see here there's various different options. Obviously we're using Linux at the moment. And here you can change things. Now I find that you can go quad core and also 4 gig of RAM. If you want to run more operating systems, you might want to lower that RAM, because I did get a message when I tried to run 2 Linux saying that the NAS needed 256 or something. But if you just want to run one at a time, which I do, then I would give it 4 gig. So we hit done, because what it will do is it will create a 20 gig partition to install it, which is fine for Linux. Probably need more for Windows. And here it is. So I have 3 machines here now, but this hasn't been installed yet. So let's hit start and then connect, and you'll see it booting up in the normal Linuxy way. So we can do, we just got start Linux. Sometimes it comes up with an installer on this page. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the distribution you're using. So this will probably install Linux from within Linux Mint. And we're in. The internet just sorts itself out within the virtual machine, so you don't have to worry about that. You always have the internet. And you can see here we've got install Linux Mint. If you want to try something out, that's the Mac OS coming up there, then you can just sort of play around with it and have a look and see what you think about the operating system and if it's going to be the right one for you. If I want to go back into Mac OS, if I put 3 fingers on the trackpad and push up, so I'm back in Mac OS, so I can switch between those machines really simply, and also I can just switch between different tabs. So, you know, if I want to use this normally, if I want to have a quick look at eBay, then I can. But let's go back to this remote desktop and let's try and install Linux Mint. So if I double tap that, now because it's a virtual machine and because it's allocated 20 gig on it, you're pretty safe to do what you want, because you can just delete it afterwards. So continue and UK. So this is just as if you're installing it on a normal desktop computer. I'm not going to worry about multimedia codecs because this is just for a demo. So erase disk and install Linux Mint. That standard option is generally absolutely fine because it's a virtual machine and it won't give access to the rest of the NAS, and it installs it to the VDA, so virtual disk. I'll put some installation instructions for Raspberry Pi OS in the description because there was a few extra questions it asked. But usually a Linux installation goes very much like this. And just continue with the installation as normal. Now what I tend to do here is select the login automatically. And the reason I do that is because you have to have a password to log into my NAS anyway. So I figure it's probably pretty safe. But whatever works for you. And it's just a great, easy way of installing an operating system without too much bother and without disrupting anything really, because you can just delete it all. And I'll probably delete Neon because although I like it as an operating system, it doesn't work brilliantly as the virtual machine. Raspberry Pi OS is better, but Mint might be better again because it will be more up to date because the Raspberry Pi OS is a very old version. But I definitely find a virtual machine is useful for when I'm at work and I'm accessing on their network. It blocks quite a lot. It blocks YouTube comments. It also blocks various different websites from Flipboard. So quite often it's like news sites and things like that, and I can't get access to it. But with a virtual machine, because I'm accessing the virtual machine, then I can look at more of the web and I can save it on that device and I can pick it up at any time. Okay, so installation has finished. You can continue testing Linux Mint now. So we'll restart. And it's starting up. Now I don't need to remove the installation media. And we have Linux Mint. So just to check that that's working. Yeah, you can see it's working fine. And the web browser. And if we do a search, let's go with Lee PSP video, and you can see it's all working and it wants us to do all the accepting of the Google bits, but yeah, I can go straight to my YouTube channel. I have to accept again because it's all first time, but you can see that it's working. And I can do the same, so I can shut down now. So quit and shut down. That takes us back to this. I can close that window. And if I go back to this one, we can see that we've got 3 systems. So really impressive. Need to do Windows next. So let's go back to the browser and let's try Tiny11. I haven't tried this for a while. This is like a stripped down version of Windows 11. So ISO image. Let's go with this latest one, 23H2. Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? I've clicked on the link to download it, so let's copy that and cancel that. And I can also delete that Linux Mint. So back to the NAS drive and going into downloads, create from downloaded link. Let's paste that in and come back when that's all downloaded. Okay, so that's just finished. Tiny11 ISO. Let's go back into the virtual machine. New VM manually. And upload the ISO. So in my downloads folder, there it is. And we'll call that Windows 11. Okay, that's in. Select the ISO and the volume. System type, so Windows 11. Recommend you install performance optimization tools for Windows. Okay, we'll have a look at the tutorial. Oh yeah, UTM does something similar to this on the Mac. But I'm going to try it without all that and see how well it does. See if it's necessary. It's obviously going to improve performance, but this is just to test it really. So let's hit done and start it up and connect. See what messages we get. Press any key. Okay, does it give me options here? No, that's the only option it gives me. Oh, but it does give me United Kingdom keyboard. Does it give me the time zone? Yeah. And next, I accept, and next. 65 gig it's allocated for Windows. Fair enough. And I guess this could take a while, so I'll just come back when it requires any input from me. Okay, so far so good. United Kingdom. Pick my keyboard. I can skip that. Your PC will restart before you continue. Okay, hopefully I don't have to press any buttons now. It should boot straight into it. Yeah, always updates with Windows. Checking for more updates. Almost there. And there it is, Windows 11 on my NAS. It's easier than I thought it was going to be. What's it going to say if I do about your PC? So it picks up the M100, 4 gig of RAM, and this is version 22H2. I thought I downloaded 23H2. Oh well, never mind. Definitely works. And you could do some optimization. I would imagine it's set up for best performance already. Oh no, let Windows. So we'll go with best performance. So it turns off all the fancy effects and things. You don't want that on a virtual machine. And also maybe startup apps. So we'll see if there's anything running that we really don't need running on this. So we don't need it to start with Edge. I'll leave the security notification on. And let's see if the web browser's working all right. So if I do BBC Sport, you can see it comes up. It feels quite snappy actually. Scrolling's a bit slow, but it does feel quite snappy. And if we click on a story, yeah, very nice. And again, if we want to come out of that, we can properly shut it down. Just so it's using less resources, but it's so easy to just pick the VM and then start it up. And I can do all that remotely like I'm doing now. This is done remotely to the NAS. So now no VNC comes up. I can close that window, and if we have a look at this, so we've got Windows 11, Mint, Raspberry OS and KDE Neon. So the worst one at the moment for me is Neon, because I've got 2 other Linux operating systems on there and they're working fine. So you can export to OVA. That's the bit that it's asking for when you do a new VM. So you can basically back up this operating system as a clean install and then reinstall it if you want to play around with something. So image. Oh yeah, so here's the ISO images. So I could delete KDE Neon because I'm not going to do that again on the VM. Yeah, it's just really logical. If I then go into files and shared folder and downloads, I'm using this also for Plex, and Plex works really well on it. So if I delete that, and in fact I can delete all of these and save a bit of room on my NAS, because how much have we got at the moment? Storage. So I've used 139 gig, but I've got 3.6 terabytes. Okay, so hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.